Hello, welcome back. I decided to do a part 2, but focusing on perhaps things that we should be focusing on moving forward, not just love. I know the last one was being directed more on love, but you can also spread it in your work environment, family, friends, etc., etc. But let's focus on what is it that we need to take care of. We can only sit on the floor but so long. We gotta get up. Ooh, look at that, I was about to pop out. Look at garden. What I say? What? Yeah, nurture your garden. You gotta get up. Smell the roses. Plant your seeds. What? And when it comes to your garden, what seeds are you using? What are the seeds like? What is it? The ones that you're gonna harvest? What's the soil you're planting in? Where's that soil? Where's that plot? What type of water? Because if listen, ain't nothing like plant therapy. If you're going through something, I'm gonna tell you, plants will humble your ass. If you know, you know. But if you're going through something, you're healing yourself, and you're trying to look at and experience humanity in a certain light, as far as like, not to the point where you're understanding so much that you're just excusing bad behavior, but you're changing your perspective. Get a bunch of plants. And I guarantee you, all of them, even though all of them love the sunlight, they all need different types of love. Some plants, they barely don't want to be bothered. You barely show up every blue moon and they will thrive. You have one plant, you move them just an inch and watch the motherfuckers turn yellow and start falling off, because it's like, but why did you disturb my peace? Like, I was blooming. You saw me right here. I was good. Why did you decide to do that, a plant will humble you. You can't tell it what it needs. It will tell you what it needs, and by doing so, it blossoms. When I tell you that shit does the trick, it has definitely put me on my own ass in the past. Different types of plants, man, and even the ones that you like, dang, why can't I keep this one alive? Am I not being patient enough to like learn it properly, or does it not resonate? Because sometimes you can do everything and it's just like, no, maybe try switching, exploring a different plant. Look at this baby right here. Say Michael. He hasn't popped up in a minute. Y'all who followed me in the past, like, he'll pop up when shit's really about to go down. Yeah. Okay, you're about to get down in a minute. I appreciate you sharing your energy, though, baby. Thank you so much. Okay, go. Thank you. Oh, keep on with your pretty booty. All right. Court. Ooh, okay. I don't know if you guys heard the horn picked up in the background. If you have some papers, heavy on papers. I'm picking up library. I don't know if you have to go do your research, or you have to go figure something out legally, where you're filling out like business wise, or just, I don't know. I'm also picking up legal Zoom. But heavy on paperwork, getting your paperwork together, getting your information straight. That's another thing. But heavy on getting your papers together, maybe court date, maybe possibly dealing with parental custody. I don't know, for some I feel very specific, maybe like considering, like, I don't know if you're going to jail, or you're someone else that's going to jail, or like trying to get out of going to jail, but having your information, heavy on like getting your information straight and your paperwork. And court doesn't always have to do with like physical court, spiritual court too, honey. we get called up and yanked in our sleep. In the real life, people will come across us out of the blue, incognito angels and guides to give us words of wisdom, and you get judged from it. No one can drag you worse than yourself, other than your ancestors and spirits looking over you. We drag each other as humans, but we be dragging ourselves enough. What's bottom? Places of remembrance, nostalgia, memory, sentimental, childhood, and reflection. Now, it is always good to create a thought form, like when you're going through something. And I don't say that in a way of escapism. You don't want to go in escapism. You don't want to dissociate and be like, oh, I'm just fine. I'm not gonna focus on this la di da di da. This feels good, and you're just to keep me like, nah. Sometimes you need that. I don't want to say band aid, but for lack of better words, or like that maybe that security blanket or comfort, for that time being. Where it's like, what, you're frustrated, you might pause, you might play some music that reminds you of like, hey, maybe a festival you went to when you were surrounded by high vibrating people, and it was like the best place you've ever been, and with these people you realize how much you were starving for that connection. Simple stuff like that, you bring it back, listen to that certain song, or maybe you stop and I don't know, eat some ice cream, just like creating thought forms and memories that when you're under stress or anxiety, you can pull that in like a power. You're harnessing, you're calling, just like we call back our power, we're calling in that energy to like realign us, not as a crush, but to be like, remember this feeling? Yeah, babe, we can get that back, we can work on that back. And don't forget that, even if you're going through something, you call back that energy, that thought form, that feeling, be like, this is possible. And sometimes, we experience things in life and they aren't meant to stay, but it shows us that we are capable of receiving those things, whether we're looking at it as like, ooh, dang, I've been selecting wrong, and this, and then I'm experiencing something beautiful that just shows me that it is possible. Maybe not right now, but it is possible. You know, like building your career, starting a business, all of that stuff. And it's like, okay, now I'm ready. Now you're ready to receive, because let me tell you, a year makes a difference. A year makes a difference. We don't think we do, but when you look back a year, would you say that you were happier, or in a different space, and pros and cons, or whatever the case may be, like, and what are your patterns? And then you go a year back after that, and a year back after that, and just like, you start to, first it allows you to pause in your own energy and like assess, patterns, and anything to do with enabling or self-blame, or guilt, or maybe even just sweeping things under the rug where they should have been addressed, and when to let go. That doesn't mean defeat. Sometimes you have to let things go and give it to the river, give it to God, give it to Goddess, give it to spirit, whatever the case who you want to give it to, honey. And start again. And that takes a tremendous amount of strength, okay? Speaking from experience, because that ego be like, nah, but sometimes you just gotta let shit go, and be like, damn, okay, what would happen? What would happen for like that one day? All that anger, or excuse me, all that anger, or that self-doubt, or allowing other people to get in my head, or feeling like, dang, I can't launch this new brand, or hey, I can't make these I can't socialize properly. What for one day you can, you know what for one day you can, like, you push out every other negative thought, and self-sabotage, and you walk in that energy for a full day, and I guarantee you the next day, if you're out that energy, you're gonna feel the difference, and it's gonna make you pause to reflect on some things and be like, damn. For one, the fact that you had the ability to do that and survive a whole day, in a different energy that you're used to doing, shout out to yourself for showing up for yourself. And two, be like, damn, shit, why was I in that funk? Sometimes you don't know we're in that funk, and until we get out. Okay, let's keep going. Memories on building. Also, if you're you have you've been reminiscing on some childhood memories of like when you wanted to be like, and I feel like this might feel like specific to a collective. It's like, oh, I want it to be this, I want to be that, and you found yourself now in this present day, like in that recycled energy, but fresh, and like in your big boy pants, big girl pants, or whatever, and you're like, damn, this shit is coming to fruition, and I feel for some of you guys, you're taking a moment to like breathe in that fresh air, like it's new life, and that you're seeing everything come full circle. And I think a lot of you guys are going through epiphanies. I believe that also popped up, that term popped up in the last reading, but for a lot of you guys are having epiphanies, and that's bringing you back to your childhood in ways where it's kind of like, dang, where did I go wrong, or I would say, when did I go left or right, or when did it turn? Like, where exactly you're starting to realize when things start changing. When you stop belonging to yourself. When did you stop dreaming? When did you stop like doing the things that you used to do? I mean, shit, I have to like assess myself all the time. Like looking back at things, I was like, dang, I used to do this. I don't do this anymore, and why is that? And all this other different stuff. Um, it takes the best of us. All right. Airport, travel, departure, arrival. Okay. You were either traveling away or to, and you left with something, and you left something behind. I'm going to tell you that. Let's get more clarification. Shopping mall. Yeah. Souvenirs, baby. You brought something back with you. Someone brought something back with them. Let's see, bottom deck, window, framed view, different. I know it was reversed, but looking on both spectrum of that, views have changed, and for some, views did not, and it was just in one ear and not the other. Spectrums, hotel, listen, traveler's retreat. For some, it may not have gone the way that you wanted, and for others, it was illuminating. I feel like this one is illuminating. The sky, yeah, look at that. Infinite universe, cloud formations, like it's a breath of fresh air. I feel like for like a certain collective, it has been a breath of fresh air of like transformation, and like they're ready. Somebody's ready. They're like, I fought too hard and too long to get here, and then I have this breath of air. Don't you dare sink me down, down, down into the deep waters when it's my time to breathe for air. And we all love deep waters, and we need the deep waters to like realign stuff. But when it's time to come up for air, baby, it's time for come up for air. And I fear like there's these hands, I'm picking up hands that are just trying to grab someone down into the water, so much so it feels like desperation and you're grasping for air. And I feel like you're going to end up killing them, suffocating them. It's a dangerous energy to be in. Also, like a crutch, but also having self-fear. We've all been there where we're afraid to take that step, take that leap, take into that transformation, and you have these picking up heavy on childhood mother wounds, um, wounds in general. Looking back, it's like I'm releasing something. I'm also picking up the age of 16, 14 through 16. Yeah, and also the color white, that could also represent the energy, purity, where something went wrong. Heavy on that. I feel like there's a teenage spirit stuck somewhere in time, and just having that leave my mouth felt eerie, like someone is stuck in time. And I'm picking up 16, 14 to 16, but heavy on the number 16 is screaming. Yeah. Also picking up a blonde with pigtails. I mean, that resonates with everybody, but blonde with pigtails and heavy on like pigtails in general. Oh, hold on, that one was already flipped on the other side. Okay. Kitchen, having tools, meal preparation, having the ingredients you need. This is a heavy and powerful card. When you in the kitchen, baby, I'm gonna tell you, everybody's gonna think that they are a cook and they're a chef. And you know what? To agree, we can all cook. It may not come out great, but everybody assumes it's gonna come out like the next. You give the same people eggs, milk, a bowl, and see how their eggs, not the eggs, I don't know what. See how their cake, and batter and all that stuff, you know what I mean, comes out. Some cake might come out perfect. Some might be low hanging, and some might be a little blotchy. That's like everyone has this. It depends on how much you put into that cake. You can do all the right things, but it may not be different. And you may, instead of making cakes, you may be able to do some brownies if you get where I'm coming with this, But what are your ingredients? What are your tools? What are the things to nourish yourself to get prepared? Heavy on the preparation energy. Heavy on preparation energy. Picking up the letter S. Picking up the heavy letter S. And A. They're picking up the letter S. Or someone with the letter S and A in it. Hey, your name could be Sarah. I do know a Sarah, but in general, you could be a Sarah, something with the T-A, T-A-R, Tyra, T, something with T, Tanya. Yeah. Picking up E, picking up O from the deck. Hospital. Okay. Time to go to the hospital. Zoe. Picking up Zoe name. I guess that's probably on here in the O name. Hospital time. Getting the checkup. Also picking up pregnancy, a baby. Congratulations if you're having a baby, but also, and it's not as like to put out fear or anything. Just like check on your baby if you're pregnant. Check on your stomach. Check to see if you're actually pregnant. Something with a diagnosis, but just like checking, have you picking up baby and going to the hospital and a checkup in general. And I'm gonna leave it on that and just pray heavy on protection on that if you're having a baby or if there's some type of diagnosis that is happening. You know, I pray that you find remedy in the doctors, that you go see that their hands be blessed as they work on your child. Let's see, countryside. Let's see, peaceful retreat, simple living. Okay. Is that the end? You know, a lot of times you say we want this, but are we really compatible with it? You see on the table you have a wine glass and 2 wine glasses and a bottle of wine. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? But is it just for show? Did they just take this pretty image, like, or are they actually standing back and observing, or are they just posting it up for other people to see, to be like, oh, look, we're happy? Is it real or is it not? Is it authentic? Or is it fool's gold? All right. I'm gonna pull out my deck and see. This lady, she is a woman of harvest. Yams, solitude, liability or beneficial. Like you being in solitude, is it time? Like at some point, and this being paired with that card for harvest, that she is ripe and ready for harvest because someone has realized, okay, when is it time to get up? Because you can hermit mode all the time, but when does it come to the point where now you don't know how to socialize with people because now you're stuck in such a mode where you've isolated yourself, and it's a liability more than a benefit. And then also on the other spectrum, you know, now that you taking that time in solitude for yourself, now you're ready to be like, I'm getting up, and no one's going to make me get up until I'm ready to get up. And now you're absolutely sure you did not allow anyone to sway you, no matter how much they pushed and tugged. Heavy on the universe saying yes, you know, or like just heavy on that energy. And I'm picking up 3, the number 3. Could be 3 angel guides or 3 ancestors or something, or at least minimum of 3. Just like yes. Once again, I'm picking up like white energy, something all dressed in white. An old lady with like a split down the middle, but she'd wear her hair back in a bun. It could be significant. Also a long chain, not a long chain, but a long necklace. And unshapely dress that an old lady would wear, like straight up and down that reaches their ankle. Kitten shoes, that's what I'm picking up. Okay. What else, Spirit? Ooh, okay. You're about to pop up. Indulgence. Look at that. I saw fun and games by the ocean. We love going to the ocean, but baby, you don't want to drown because you don't have your senses about you. You know, have you indulged so much? You know, the speckles here also look like blood. You know, like sacrificial. You know, we want to be like, sometimes we want to make ourselves martyr and be like, indulge you, like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and spread myself thin and I'm going to indulge you, but watch me bleed. You see me bleed? You see me bleed? You know, knock on wood, not actually, but like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, do you see this? And like shouting, and it's kind of like, okay, I see you. It's not performative, but it's kind of like, you know, relax. You know, take a minute. Ooh, excuse me, truth. Twice. Ooh, excuse me, truth. Take a minute. You don't have to scream at the top of your lungs to be like, look, I'm sacrificing it all and I'm doing all this and that. Sometimes it requires, look, nourishment again. Sometimes it requires healing and moving in silence and then just phoenix rising. Oh, excuse me, truth. Really on this one. Looking at nourishment. You see one hand and another hand. If you look closely, they're not the same hand. So you're pouring into yourself. You're pouring into your own cup, bowl, you know. But you're not alone. That hidden hand is with you. They'll steady your hand, you know, as you pour and you submit. You know what I'm saying? Duality, masculine and feminine, balancing those energies too, but also having that helping hand. I'm picking up an aunt energy. Excuse me. Picking up an aunt energy. Someone would say like, I know you, or I'm here for you. But heavy on I know you. And I guess that can go both ways. Like, I know you, or I know you, you know? I don't know if you have an aunt that you passed that you haven't spoken to in a long time before they passed, or an aunt that you haven't, you know, maybe visited their remains or placed flowers or spoke to, but someone's trying to come through. And for some of you guys probably didn't have a good relationship with your aunt, and they're coming through. For some, and let me tell you, I also want to say this, not every passed on spirit has their best means. And while you are still amongst the living, and you have the right to be like, you know, get on with the get on. If you got what you needed from that, your lesson learned, you don't have to sit and subject yourself to stuff. You still have life to live and choices to make. I mean, we all end up as ancestors at one point and leave legacies, for better or worse. And even if it's of chaos, you know, you're the catalyst of somebody's reality. Marketplace. Let me leave it on that. Actually, the bottom of the deck. Waterfall. All that nourishing from one source into another. And you have a marketplace. What I love about marketplace, all these delicious foods, all these different spells, all these people. You go to the marketplace, you learn something new. And it's not just trying different foods, just like you're trying different formulas to how you want to operate in your life. You know, how you want to operate in your business if you're starting a business, or operate when it comes to just your psyche, your emotional, in every sense of the word. You know, but also networking, talking to other people. Like, hey, how do you cook your rice and beans? Hey, how do you make your baked chicken, you know, or your fried chicken, or your mac and cheese, or whatever the case may be. Like, and then taking for what you've learned, experiencing other people and their perspective and how they do things, and then how now you're going to go back and be like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Because you're making it for yourself. You're trying different ways. Let me tell you, it's powerful. It's time to go to the marketplace, okay? Not just physically, spiritually, and heavy on emotionally. And deep diving into those emotions. Like, you got to go back into, maybe even visit some old marketplaces, so you can refresh yourself when you go to this new marketplace. All right. Y'all, it is late. Thank you. As always, I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe if you found anything helpful, useful. If not, and you thought that this resonated for somebody else, please share. You know, I pray blessings over you. I pray discernment. Be kind to yourself, and remember, you belong to you before anyone else's. Let the ties move you.